New York is not off the table as a place where they might be tried, though we have to take into consideration the concerns that have been raised by local officials and by the community in New York City.
That was Attorney General Eric Holder testifying on Capitol Hill yesterday. On the table, the rules governing the prosecution of terror suspects. The administration has yet to determine how and where it will try the accused mastermind of the 9/11 attacks, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, and his alleged co-conspirators. So when are we going to know what the plan really is? Let's talk about it with South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. He is our guest now. You got into a bit of a sparring match with the Attorney General yesterday over the administration's plan. Sometimes it seems as though they didn't really have a plan. They announced that these trials would be held in New York, and at that point they hadn't even consulted the mayor of New York or the police chief or anybody, police commissioner, anybody who would be responsible for providing security.
Correct, John. It blew up in their face. Most Americans do not want to take Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind of 9/11, and try him in any civilian court, giving him the same constitutional rights as an American citizen. But to take him to New York City and shut down the city and spend $400 or $500 million made no sense, and they're going to have to change that. I've got legislation that would prevent any funding of a civilian trial for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and his 5 co-conspirators, and my legislation would pass, but I hope they will rethink what they're doing, and I believe they are.
Well, you are also one of those who has advocated shutting down the prison at Guantanamo Bay. A lot of people say, hey, Guantanamo would be a perfect place to put these guys on trial, and you yourself yesterday said to the Attorney General that we are a nation without a jail right now.
Yeah, and let me tell you, we are. If you caught someone in Yemen tomorrow, I asked the Attorney General, where would you take that terrorist suspect? If we found a high-value target overseas, what jail would you use? And they say they're not going to use Guantanamo Bay. If they send them to Afghanistan, the Afghan government's not going to become the jailer for America, so it would bring the government down in Afghanistan. My view of Guantanamo Bay is it's a safe and secure jail. It's well run. But when it comes to an image, it's an iconic image, according to General Petraeus, still being used against us in the war on terror, and our allies don't like us using that jail. So I'm willing to find another jail, only if you understand we're at war. I'm not willing to let Khalid Sheikh Mohammed be tried in civilian court. We need a rule that allows enemy combatants to be held indefinitely without trial. And if a judge orders one of these guys released, we need a statute that says you can't come to the United States. So we could close Gitmo safely, but they have no plan. They have no plan for future captures. And this idea of KSM going in civilian court blew up in their face. I want to help them, but they got to help themselves.
Well, let's take a guy like Anwar al-Awlaki, this American-born imam who is causing so much trouble in Yemen. The United States has said he's on a capture or kill list. Let's say we captured him. Would the team that grabbed him, would they be expected to read him Miranda rights, Miranda warnings?
That's a great question. I want to create a statute that says any high-value target involved in the war on terrorism would be interrogated by the high-value interrogation team, and we will extract intelligence from them about what they know about the enemy activities and not read them their Miranda rights. This is absurd of capturing a terrorist who tried to blow up an airliner and reading them their rights. They should be held by our military intelligence organizations, questioned about what they know about enemy activity, then you decide where to prosecute. So under my statute, if we caught the guy alive tomorrow, what we would do is we would give him to the military to be interrogated about what he knows about enemy activity. Then we'll decide whether to prosecute him in a military court or civilian court, but we would not read him his rights, and we would put him in a military prison.
Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, also a military JAG reservist. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
A new poll out from Rasmussen is looking ahead.